Welcome everyone to the show. I'm your host Don Vic. What's up? What's up? Y'all know the vibes. This is the place where see new talent, new faces, and new upcoming stars all the time here on the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Facebook, YouTube, Power Post Network. Big shout out to you guys. Today we got a special guest coming. Actually, two. One at 3 and one at 5. We got David coming to the show, and we have Mike coming to the show tonight. And just want to really quick shout out Sandy Johnson and also Harley Wallen and the crew for Pagan, uh, Maria, Denise, and Victoria. Big shout out to you girls and the rest of the cast for the TV series Pagan that they're working on right now. So, folks, we're going to bring in our guest today, David SIracusa. We're going to talk to him, find out exactly what he got going on. He's a producer, he's a director, and an actor, been in several films. And we're going to talk to him and find out exactly what he got going on at this present day, folks. So please welcome David to the show. David, how you doing, brother? Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. You're here, but now we can't hear. Hold on, we can't hear David. Volume maybe. Shut up. The volume on your mic or on the studio. Did you hit the mic? We got Looney Tunes here. Folks, give us a minute. We're just trying to get the volume on his side to work. You should have a mic there or phone. No. Yeah, folks, this happens, but thank you guys for tuning in here. Say hello to Mama. Mama is my new best friend. And when I don't have her with me, she starts to bark. You can hear that barking on the back. But this is my amazing little puppy. Yeah, folks. So just give us a sec. To see if we can get his volume to work. Headphones, maybe you might need some headphones. You know headphones. Okay, well, let me see. Let me put you on backstage till we get the okay. So while David get his volume up, uh just want to say tune in December 2nd, celebrity boxing out in Atlantic City at the Showboat Hotel. December 2nd, Hazel Rochelle will be fighting. So will Ryan Delton will be fighting. Young CEO will be fighting as well. Frankie Picard will be fighting as well. Evelina Destiny, I believe she'll be performing that night. So it's gonna be a great show and a great fight out in Atlantic City on December 2nd. So I'm excited, can't wait to see my brothers go to action and see who wins. You know, I got a few dollars. I got a few bets. I got a few bets going on. So hope my fighters are in good shape. Okay. Uh, Also, shout out to Amanda Jensen. Emily Rose. Big shout out to STZ, my brother Matt and his wife Tisha. You think you're ready there? Let's see if David got his. Oop, David went off. So big shout out to them. Also, Jennifer Anderson as well. She just dropped a book. So let's see if David got his volume going. Give me 1 second, folks. We're gonna try to get David here organized, and we'll bring him on the shut up, and we'll bring him on the show. Oh boy, this is gonna be a good one.
Did that work?
Oh, there you go. We're here, folks. We're here. David finally made it to the finish line.
Sorry about that. I had to get rid of the app. It wouldn't work with the app on the phone. I had to just go through the browser. So go figure.
Yeah. So welcome to the show. Thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, and I want to apologize for the other day. You know, my system went crazy. I couldn't get it to go.
Hey, that happens to the best of us, right?
Yes, it sure do. Come here. Give me 1 second. I got my. She just, if I don't pick her up, she'll stop barking. So, welcome to the show. I want to thank who was it that Matt connected us, correct?
Yes. Angry Troll Studios. They're fantastic.
Yes.
Yep, Matt and Tisha. Yep.
So I was doing a little reading. You know, before you became an actor, you was a business guy. You owned several businesses, and you decided to put that to the side to start your career as an actor. And you know, and I just want to say that takes a lot of cojones to do, you know, because you were successful at what you was doing, and you decided to put it down and proceed your career. So that's just telling me that's how bad you wanted to be a part of this type of industry.
Absolutely. Man, I was looking for a change. I had owned a couple of insurance companies and really enjoyed it. I mean, it was great business. Did very well for it, but I was looking for something different, something unique. And it was funny. I told my wife I wanted to retire, and she said, "Okay, great." And then I retired, and she said, "Well, what are you going to do now? You're not just going to lay around on the couch all day." And I said, "Well, that's the whole definition of retirement." But she said, "No, you got to go do something."
Right.
She wouldn't let me retire. So I said, acting. Acting seems like it would be a blast. And I've loved the industry. I thought when I got into it, I thought just acting. But then I started working behind the camera a little bit. I love that part as well. In fact, I helped a gentleman to direct his film that he was working on that I was also starring in. And it was a weird scenario where a couple of people on set got sick, and actually the director, Luke, got a little bit because of the area where we were shooting, and he was a little under the weather. And so I kind of stepped in to help out along with his wife, Taylor. And so the next day when he was back up, he said, "You know, you did a great job. We're going to do this again in a couple of months. I'd love you to come on and co-direct with me." So now I am actually directing my first film for the Orlando Independent Film Challenge in a month. So I'm on the directing side now too. So I love the whole industry.
That's awesome. You know, and to, you know, retire and get right into an industry where, you know, I love it. It's an amazing industry. Once I got into it too, the acting gives me an opportunity to play certain characters that you might not be able to play in real life and get away with certain things.
That's right. Yeah.
You know?
It's funny. I was a teacher before I went into the insurance world. And when you actually teach, it's funny. You kind of take on a new persona. You know, you get up there and you're talking with the kids, but you have to get animated. You have to do something to keep their attention, right? You're
Right,
fighting
right,
against video games and all this other stuff. So you have to grab their attention. So a lot of the times you get emotional, you get into it, you do what you can.
right,
And acting, I feel like really has given me that chance to get kind of almost back into the classroom. You know, you like you said, you take on all of these really cool personalities, and some of them are horrible, some of them are ones you wish you could be, and
right.
they're just fun to try and really show that you can get into their head and understand them. Whether you would want to be that person or not, at least you can kind of show that there's something to being able to to really understand them and bring them to life.
Right. And just creating everything as a director, or a writer, creating a story, when you create it in your mind and paper, you're the only one to have that vision at that moment. So, you know, when you got it on paper in mind and you got your actors ready to bring out your characters that you wrote, is an amazing thing to watch. Because in your mind you have the character, but now you have a person playing that character that you created, and it's phenomenal to see. Like, wow, like this person is playing someone I just created out of my head, and is
Yeah.
playing an amazing job.
And it's interesting too when they play a different aspect or a different identity to what you were thinking. Because yeah, you describe an accident, and everyone that was at the accident saw something different, right?
Right,
And
right,
so it's the same way. You're describing this actor, and you're like, "This is how I see this actor," and someone else or this character, and then an actor comes along and they portray the character completely different, and you're like, "Wow, that's not what I pictured. I didn't think I described that on the paper." So I've actually heard that a lot of people don't like the writer being on set because the writer says, "No, no, 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 wait, that's not what I wanted."
right.
And
Yeah,
the director and the actors are saying, "Hey, you wrote it. Now we're bringing it to life," and you
right.
get that a little bit of tension sometimes. So
Yeah, yeah. It's you're right, because you might write something and different actors might bring it to light in a different way, and then you just have to choose which way you like it best as the director. Say, I'm going to go with this one. I like stay with that. I like that, and it fits the play.
yeah,
And I think it's a challenge for the actor, because you can read, like, I got a script that I'm reading right now for a series, and I play like an Italian painter. So I got to get my accent to sound like if I was Italian. So it's a challenge. I'm Latino, so it's hard for me to play an Italian guy. I might look Italian, but I say I may have the look, but I don't got the accent.
that's funny. Yeah, I actually I have a movie coming up where I'm going to be an Italian mobster, and Syracusa. I mean, Syracusa. I'm Italian, right?
Yeah,
But
yes.
still, I am as American, I guess, as
As they
they come,
come.
if you say so. I haven't used. Hey, I haven't used my Italian accent in quite a while. I gotta go back. I
Hey,
gotta work on it a little bit,
hey, I understand. I understand, Tony.
Just gotta you gotta get the hands going. Madon, what are you doing? So I got a little work to do on that as well. But
Yeah,
they're fun characters to play, right? I mean, you look at the ethnic groups, the Americans were kind of, but I guess that's how every group sees themselves, right? Like we look
right.
at the British and we say, oh, they're fancy accents. And the Brits look at us and they probably say, well, we're stuffy. The Americans, they're crazy cowboys. So everybody always looks at a different group and says, wow, they're nuts.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
love the idea of playing the Italians and talking with the hands and doing all that. So
yeah. I mean, that's Matt right there. Said both of you guys need to play the gangsters.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
there you
right.
go. I
So
love it. Anything that Matt has for me, I'm 100% in.
yeah, Matt was putting together STZ, which I know you're um in that crew as well. Um, how'd you and Matt end up meeting up?
So who put me in touch with Matt? Somebody, oh, I know. A gentleman reached out to me, just out of the clear blue. In fact, my bestie Kylie just texted me something. I see her name flashing up there, and she was the one who had actually said, "Hey, Dave, every now and then I know you're looking for paper play opportunities. This guy just reached out to me," and I said, "Oh, okay, great, yeah, send it along to me. Maybe I'll be interested." And it was for STZ, and so I said, "This looks fantastic. I love this. The project looks great. Everything about it looks good." So that was how I eventually got involved, and really kind of an interesting story. So as I was talking about it, and I'm talking with this gentleman, he says that they lost an actor for one of the roles,
Right.
and I said, "Oh, that's a shame." And he sends me a picture of the guy, and he said, "Oh my God, I am looking at my buddy Bronson Taylor." I said, "I know this guy," and he said, "No, he's gone." And I said, "I'm telling you, this guy is a dead ringer for your actor." So I actually put them in touch with Bronson, and Bronson is now the lead for The Legend of Johnny Jones.
Oh wow, how cool is that?
Yep, they
How cool
looked
is
him
that?
up. They reached out to him, and turned out that they knew a lot of the same people that he had worked with previously. They had a lot in common, and so next thing you know, he's the Legend of Johnny Jones. So it's such a small world, the acting world. That's one of the things that I just love about this is you're always running into other actors and other creatives, and everybody's always helping each other and working together. Hey, I want you on this project. I want you on that one. And then you just meet more and more people, and it's a great industry.
Right. And that's how a lot of, for me, that's how I got into a lot of the films, is by going to a a set and meeting people that are already like working on other sets or writing to start a new film. And that's how I got my feet wet, with the films that I've been in. Um, so and it works for me,
Mhm.
versus me looking for a job, I think it's who you know and what
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, to move in this industry. So, you know, you also were your first film called the Uncivil War.
Mhm.
That was your first. You directed. Did you wrote that as well?
So that was my actual movie that I produced. I was executive producer on it. I wrote it. I did not direct it. The director
Okay.
was Andrew Huff, um, and that was one that I just kind of felt passionate about. And I worked with another writer on that. He kind of helped me tweak it a little bit. And he had worked on one or two of my other scripts. And he said, "This is the one. This is the one you should do for your first film." He said, "It's powerful. It speaks to the times." And he said, "Best thing about it is it won't cost you a fortune," because there weren't, there's some of them have the huge things. I'd written another one about the train to nowhere. The Labor Day hurricane destroyed Henry Flagler's train. Well, to do that one was going to cost millions, because we had to have a train on the tracks and get knocked off by the hurricane. And so this one, The Uncivil War, America Divided, was just a much easier film to bring to life, if you will.
Okay. So, what is your process for directing a film?
So at this point, my joy in the directing is working with the actors. I like setting up the shots. I like doing the studio binder, or doing the setting up the shot sheets and going through the shot list and all that. But really, my prime area that I like is getting in there with the actors and saying, let's rehearse before we get out there. Let's run through this. Let's make sure we've got the blocking down. Because me as an actor, so as a director, I look at it as, what do I want as an actor from a director? And my worst thing is memorizing lines. I hate memorizing lines. If somehow, I've heard that some Hollywood people actually get little ear things and they put their earbuds in.
Yes.
And someone gives them their line and they just speak it after they're told their line.
Yeah.
That'd be like a dream come true for me. If I didn't have to memorize lines, there wouldn't be a single thing I didn't like about this business.
Yeah.
But so for me, when the way I do better with the lines though, is if we rehearse a bunch of times before we go in to shoot. And because now I'm rehearsing the lines in the flow of the motion. I'm sitting at the table, I'm standing up and I'm going to grab the gun or I'm grabbing the glass of water as we're talking. And now I visualize it better. So and that's what I like to do with the actors.
Right. And it stays fresh because you just read it. Versus
Absolutely.
I read it a month ago and I forgot what line the first line was.
Absolutely. And you know, if you're reading the line, if you're reading the script and you're reading that, you go pick up the glass of water and you drink it and you do that between two lines. But then you get on set and you find out that you're supposed to be walking over to the glass as you say the first line, and then you don't grab it, you walk back, and then you go over, you grab the glass, and then you drink it, and then you say the. Now all of a sudden it changes the flow of how you say the lines. And believe it or not, it's kind of like doing, I always say it's like doing a dance. You know, everyone says, oh, that dance is so easy. It's just, you know, you memorize the steps until they actually do it. And you realize it's very difficult to get your body into that muscle memory stage.
Right.
And now you add lines to that. It's doing a dance step and giving your lines at the same time, at the same spot every time. It's a lot more goes into it. You know, they always say walking and chewing gum at the same time.
Yeah.
This is a lot more than just walking and chewing gum. That's for sure.
What would you say? What would you say would be your favorite movies and why?
Ooh, I love comedies. Definitely comedies, action, something with some good intrigue, like the old Blacklist. I'm going back and I'm watching that one again. You know, FBI chasing the criminals and that stuff. That's fantastic. I love the Jason Bourne movies from back in the day.
Oh, Jason Bourne.
I mean, great.
Jason Bourne reminds me of the new upgraded Johnny Wick.
Yes, John Wick. That's another great example. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I took my wife to watch that and she did not like the exploding heads and all that stuff, but I thought it was great. In fact, another one just came out similar to John Wick. Was it the Equalizer 3?
Equalizer 3?
Yeah, I think that was it.
That's with Denzel Washington.
Denzel Washington, yes. Fantastic movie. Fantastic. I loved it. Again, my wife was like screaming at me, why did you bring me to this? But I thought it was great because it was very bloody. I don't remember the first two being that bloody, but maybe they were.
Yeah, you know, as the seasons come, they get bloodier and bloodier.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was talking with my son who's in college, and he said something about, I've never seen The Godfather. And I said, honestly, son, I love The Godfather, but I don't know if it would keep your attention now because they don't blow each other away every 5 seconds in film. It's not John Wick. It's the exact opposite of John Wick.
Right.
You have to wait an hour and 40 minutes to get one good kill scene. But I love the movie. I just don't know how it would translate to this generation.
Yeah, no, that's our generation. We grew up with that, Godfather and then Scarface and all the other films that came out at those times. They're totally different.
Yes. They were what, R-rated movies back then? They'd be PG-13 now, maybe PG.
Yeah. Nowadays the films are like really, really bloody and the story behind it, sometimes I don't totally agree with it, but it's a good film. It's a good film, but you may not agree with the story or may not like the story, but sometimes, stories you don't like end up being good films.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes they do focus too much on let's make it as gory as possible. But there are some, the ones that do it really well. You
Yeah,
still do get a story in there. John Wick. They kind of throw in the part about his dog and the
yeah,
family and
yeah, yeah,
all that stuff. And so they do a good job of tying it together. It's not just all violence with
yeah.
that, but they do, obviously the violence is most of the reason people are going to see John Wick is how
Yes.
creative can he get with each and every kill. So
Oh my God, that's amazing. How do you work with actors to create their best performances?
one big thing that I try to talk to with the actors, and I do it mostly because, again, I kind of go back to what I do. And since I'm fairly new to the industry still, one of the things I'm always trying to get myself to do is to slow down on set. Because you watch those amazing performances by like a Robert De Niro or a Denzel Washington, someone that's been doing it forever,
Yeah,
and they give powerful performances. But sometimes when they give their performance, they slow down, and it's the fact that they go so methodical and you're hanging on every word. And I think a lot of the times what you find with actors on set is we forget that it's not a race to get the lines out to do the action. You have to, at sometimes you have to realize you feel like you're walking in molasses. On film it looks like you're going a mile a minute, and I spend a lot of the time trying to get the actors to slow down, be more methodical, and think about each action, each word that they're giving. And I think that helps people to get more dialed into the emotion and
right,
less about just getting everything out onto the film.
right. And that's why I love to do table readings, because that way you start to fill out your character, or someone might give you an idea and say, well, you know what, say it like this, try saying it like this, because we don't know everything. And you get a role, and in your mind you're reading the role, you're reading the character, you say, okay, in your mind you see them one way, right? We spoke about
Right.
this earlier. But I might be the director, and I'm expecting it to come out another way. So now I say action, and you're doing it the way you as an actor thought it should be played, and the director's like, no, no, that's not it. Kind of confuses you as well. I'm doing what I'm supposed to
Mhm.
do. This is what the line said. Maybe he wants more emotion into it. Maybe he needs you to drop some tears. Maybe he wants you to put your hand up here. So all that needs to be, you know, uh, I
Worked
look
out.
at. We
Yeah.
have work there. Look at, so for
You
me
know,
when I
and
get, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, I like the table reads. I really like them. And it's wonderful now that we can do everything on Zoom.
Yeah,
So you get to meet some of those actors that are out of town, out of state that you wouldn't have met, in the old days until you were
yes,
right on set or you just hear
yes,
on the phone or something. But you still, a Zoom reading just does not give you the same thing as being in person, having the actual props that you're going to work on.
right,
And so I feel like sometimes people see the Zoom as a replacement
right.
for actually doing the blocking and rehearsal prior to getting on set. And that I hate it when it tries to replace it.
Right.
I love the tool that it gives us, but I hate when people see it as a replacement. It's an addition, it's a great tool, but when you get on set, you have got to rehearse. You got to rehearse a lot before you get on set.
Yeah, and I agree, because say you have a line with me, right? Say you and I have a role that we're both in it, but you and I are not practicing that role. You're doing it with someone else, and I'm doing mine for some reason. You and I haven't connected, or I don't have your connection, whatever. We do it. Now it's time to do the event. I mean the set. You know, I'm coming. I'm I'm saying my line. You're like, wait a minute, I'm not used to this guy saying
Yep.
this line. It's, you feel in your head like it sounds better doing it with the other guy because you got chemistry with the guy,
Yep.
but you don't got to get the chemistry with me. So for me, I love to do it with the person that I'm gonna be on set with. So if I'm with you, David, I want to do my reading with you, so that way I can see how you're gonna come out, how you're gonna approach your lines, how you're gonna, deliver them, so I can get a feel of that and say, okay, I'm gonna come in right when he says this, boom, because I already could tell by your body language how you're moving or how you're delivering it that I say, okay, boom, I'm in now. So that to me is important because,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's funny. I was talking about Bronson earlier. He was the lead character in the Uncivil War, and
right.
I always use an app to practice my lines. It's one of those apps, Cold Reader, where you say the line and then it says the next line to you. Then you say your line, it says the next line.
Okay.
And it's good, but it's exactly what you just said. It gets you into a rhythm where you're used to hearing yourself.
Right.
Well, I met Bronson prior to getting on set for our film, and I said, hey, do you mind putting your voice into the app so I can do it a couple of times with your voice in it?
Yes.
He said, yes, absolutely. Thank God I did it. I mean, his cadence, his delivery was so different from mine. And it made such a huge difference to be able to play that app and hear his voice and get used to his cadence. Well, I'm telling you, had we not done that, the scenes would have come out 1,000 times worse on my end because I wouldn't have been able to adjust to it. Yeah,
right.
to deliver.
Right.
Absolutely, I hear you there.
So I think that is major. I mean, if you got a script where you're just by yourself, then it's cool. You're just spitting lines. But when you talking to people, you got me, you, and say 2 other people, we in the room and we having a conversation. Everything has to be on point, and everybody has to practice that one line, whatever that line is, with all 4 people. I think all 4 people should be there rehearsing that, because that way we get each other's vibes, and know how each one is going to deliver their line.
Absolutely, yeah. Especially if it's a scene where you're cutting each other off, or you're supposed to be stepping on each other's line. Like you and I are talking right now. We've kind of stepped on each other's because we're interrupting, or we start to go before the other one's finished. Well, when you have a scene like that in a movie, that's really difficult to develop that timing to nail your line right as they're finishing that you're cutting them off. It's difficult. You start working with them personally, you can feel that difference and you can really just hammer it home. So
right,
I agree.
Because I say, well, like you said, the last word. So now when you're reading the script and you don't have that person you're practicing with, in your mind as the actor, you're just waiting for that last word. That's your key for you to start, versus when you practice with the guy, you feel more comfortable. You're like, okay, he said his line, boom, boom, bam. Now it's my turn. Versus me trying to remember what was the last word that I got to tap into, because me and this person we don't got no chemistry. And then, like you said, it's going to be delivered different, or once he says his line, I gotta be like, okay, now I gotta deliver it like this instead of the way I was going to deliver it, because he either said it aggressively, softly, I don't know, however he decides he wants to say the line, right? So you got to be ready for that, because if in your mind you be like, okay, this is an aggressive aggressive line, you're gonna come back aggressive, and he sounded like, hey, David, I told you not to move the thing. You're like, no, well, I told you not to move, so it's not gonna be right.
Yeah. And it's funny, when I have a line that I know is supposed to cut off, in my mind, I always practice the line and I give myself an ending to the sentence
Right.
so that I can you going on. Because if you're stopping, it's so obvious that you're waiting for someone to cut you off. It makes a difference if you're saying more lines and you're
Right.
moving on. So I love to have other lines prepared in my mind so I can continue talking to give it that natural looking flow. Um, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever were in a place where you wanted to get a part and you never got the part?
Oh, I've that's tons of times. Tons of
Tons
times.
of
I've
times.
got all sorts of stuff that I've gone for on Backstage or Actors Access or Facebook. But kind of going back to the fact that I was in sales before this,
Right.
you know, with my prior companies, I got used to taking rejection. And to
Right.
me, acting is 100% a business. You have got to get rejected. You've got to get rejected a lot, because if you've got 40 jobs out there that you want, you're only getting one of them, maybe
Mm-hmm.
two.
Maybe
You
two.
know, I mean, it
Yeah.
just is what it is. Either they're looking for someone with hair and I'm bald, or,
Welcome to our world. Huh?
yeah, right. Or they're looking for someone that's 6'5" and I'm 6 foot.
Right.
There's a billion different reasons why you're just not going to fit every part,
That's
and you
right.
never know what the casting director is looking for. So you put it out there. If you want 2 jobs, apply for 40. If you want 5 jobs, apply for 100.
Yeah.
It's a numbers game like any other sales.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. Um, can you elaborate on the day-to-day responsibility as a director?
Yeah, I mean the joy and love of the director is just to make sure that you are, in my mind, you're taking care of the actors. That you're attending to their needs in order to get just the best possible performance from them. You're talking a lot with the DP. You're setting up your shots. You're figuring out, where's the best lighting, how you want them coming in and out. But to me, I'm more of an actor's director. I guess that's a term. I don't know if I've made that up or not, but I'm focused mostly on trying to get the best performance from the actors. So
Okay, so you do so I'm sorry. So you do communicate with your actors.
I
You
do.
okay,
Yes.
and that's good, David. And I say this because I've been to some sets where I wasn't a part of it. I just was on set because I knew some of the actors. And I've seen some actors perform their line in front of me before even going on set, and they were fabulous. And as soon as they got on set, they were a little uncomfortable with the director. He was too aggressive. Everything was let's go, go, go. It's time, everything time was this, time was that. So I saw that. I said, man, I wouldn't like to work with a director like that ever, because it just throw my game off. So
Yeah.
now I went in there thinking I'm going to do good. Now I'm thinking I'm going to do bad because my nerves are all over the place. And I want to make sure that I do a good job. So now, instead of me going in there, ready to do this, feeling loose, I'm feeling tense now. Now I'm feeling tense, and my words ain't coming out the way they want to come out. I'm not as flexible as I want to be because that little incident made me uncomfortable.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very fortunate. I've not experienced that yet with a
Mm,
director. All the
me either.
directors I've been in front of so far have been absolutely fantastic. I did have that scenario, though, with a stunt coordinator, interestingly enough. I had a situation where I was supposed to be stabbing a young lady, an actress, but, of course, you just kind of lay the sword on her side and make it look like you're jabbing her. You're not
Right.
obviously sticking her, and the stunt coordinator went off on me, just laid into me 30 seconds before the director is going to say action,
Wow.
lays into me in front of 50, 60 people, however many people were there, casting crew, just calling me an effing moron and the whole thing.
Well, that's
And
the thing.
so sure enough, the director calls action 30 seconds later. I mean, what do you expect to happen? It was the worst performance I've ever gotten. I was embarrassed. I hope it does not make the movie, and I always want to be in the movie, but it was that bad because I mean, he had me terrorized when I wasn't getting anywhere near this poor girl with the sword, so it looked terrible. I know it did. So that was my experience with somebody, and I've always said I would never be that type of a person because what did that gain for the stunt coordinator or for the stunt in that?
Right.
Nothing. It ruined it.
It ruined it. 100%. And that's why I like to ask directors that question because I know all directors ain't alike, and the good thing for you that you are an actor, so you know how you want to be treated, and you want to know how you want to be spoken to and respected. You know, because when you want something delivered, you want to make sure that that individual is comfortable. You know,
Yes.
and I haven't done my first film yet. I wrote something that I have written, and you know, and same thing, same scenario with children. I don't want to be that director where I'm going to make my actors uncomfortable where they can't perform what I need them to perform. And if they can't do it, I'm gonna say, you know what, go take a break, go over your lines, and we'll come back to you. We'll go to the next set. Let's shoot this other scene. We'll go back and we shoot this scene. You know, just to make them feel comfortable. Maybe when they come back, they'll knock it out.
Right. Yeah. And I get it. You know, the director is always under the crunch of time. It's difficult. Sometimes you can't go shoot another scene because you're completely set up here. The lighting is what it is. You can't tear down all the lights, move them, shoot another scene, come. But there are, like you said, there are things that you can do to help the actor to loosen up, to get them into the right frame of mind. And maybe you do say, you know, go take a 5-10 minute break because you'd rather lose 10 minutes of time to film, right, than lose an hour where you're doing take after take because they're so worked up and they can't get it.
Right.
Give them 10 minutes and say, just, you know, work on it for a second. You want me to come watch and give? Do you want me to stay away from you? You know, what's going to make you most comfortable? And then we'll try it again in 10 minutes. We'll see where we're at and then we'll move on, or we'll you know, look at it again. Right.
Right. I think communication is key with director and actor. I mean, for me, if I want, say, you to do a line for me and you do it, and I, you know, and I say, okay, David did good, but I need him to be more aggressive. I'm gonna say, David, can you just do that line one more time, but be a little more aggressive with it, with the tone. You know, let's try that. You know, I communicate because that's what I'm looking for. So, you know, I might guide my actor to where I want him to go. You know,
right. And that's the best thing about film is, right? I mean, we can do as many takes as we want as long as we've got the time to do it, you know. And I get it. The filming costs money, and so budget is always a concern. When I did Uncivil War, I mean, budget was always in the back of my mind, and it was tough because I was executive producer and producer and actor. So, you know, I'm fighting. I want to get it perfect versus I need to keep the budget. So, you know, two conflicting ideas in one mind. So it's difficult when it's two different people that are fighting that. You know, director is saying, I want it perfect. Executive producer is saying, I can't afford you to make it perfect. And, you know, there's that give and take. But you've got to try and get, you know, the best product out there. Otherwise, you know, maybe you stayed in budget, but did you put out a terrible product that nobody wants to see? Then did that really help to stay in budget?
Right. Yeah, it's a balance there.
Difficult balancing act. Yes, difficult balancing act.
You know, I would say that's the most challenging part of the job. You know, as a director, is to keep everything balanced, everything the way it's supposed to be. You know, and then, you know, because sometimes you get new actors that never acted before. You know, because a lot of people are not gifted like you or, you know, or someone else. They got that gift that can go do a set and do it right. When you got someone that's coming into the filming industry for the first time, and you might give him a small speaking role, you know, and he might have to do it 2 or 3 times because they're not used to being in front of the camera. They're not used to seeing 20 people looking at them while they, you know, on set and get nervous because it's nerve breaking sometimes when you go shoot somewhere new where you don't know nobody, you know, and
Absolutely.
because you start getting them butterflies because you don't know the director, you don't know the actors. You just did because you made the audition, and now you're like, okay, I don't know nobody. I gotta start making friends. Cool, but I'm not comfortable because I don't know nobody.
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, hey, everybody has to start in the business at some point,
exactly.
right? I
At
mean,
some point, yeah.
yeah. If you had Michael Jordan on your team when he was a sophomore in high school, you would have hated yourself. He got cut from his team, right? But
Yeah.
you get him 10 years later and you're champions of the world. So, Michael Jordan didn't start out as Michael Jordan. I'm sure
Right.
Robert De Niro didn't start out as Robert De
Right.
Niro.
Right.
Everybody starts somewhere. So you have to kind of accept the process and know that you're going to have a little bit of everything on every film. And I think the other big thing too is to have a really good first AD to help everything move along. If
Oh
you've
yeah.
got a first AD that lets you take a lot of the time constraints off of your mind, so you don't have to worry about that as much. If they're doing a good job of moving the crew along, moving cast, getting everybody in and out of wardrobe and makeup and hair and all that, then I think that really allows you as a director to up your game.
Right.
The going back to the basketball analogy, if the coach is having to worry about getting uniforms for people and water at onto the bench and stuff, he can't direct the players on the court as well. It makes it tough for him to be a top-notch coach if he's worrying about stuff he shouldn't be worried about. Same thing with the director. If you get to focus on making sure you've got the right shot lined up with your DP and you've got the actors doing the right thing, then you're going to be golden when it comes time to call action, right? That makes it easier on everyone.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's not an easy business. It's hard work, time consuming, especially time consuming because you can be at a set where hours before you're called up next. Um, it's just time consuming, man. You got to wait, especially like if you're like a extra, you don't know when your time is gonna come. You get impatient. So if you're impatient, this business ain't for you.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Actually, it was really interesting. I was just on a movie set 2-3 weeks ago here in Clearwater, and it was a little background role. They just said, "Hey, anybody available on Monday?" I was like, "Yeah, I got nothing going Monday. Sure, I'll go out there." And really nice group of people. And interestingly enough, the director walked over and said, "Hey guys, I just want to let you know what we're going to do here. We're going to shoot this shot in about an hour, and we'll need you for about 10 minutes there. Then we'll have you come sit back down. Then 2 hours after that, probably we're going to need you again for 30 minutes, and then we'll cut you loose for the day." And I thought, wow, you never get that as background. You never get that as background. You always get, "Stay here. We'll come get you when we need you, if we need you." Yeah, I mean, you're packed into the little room. Everyone's hot and uncomfortable. They got a few snacks or something. It was so nice and refreshing to have a director come out and say, "This is what you can expect from your day today." And it was great. He was on time with every single thing he said. I thought,
Awesome.
I love this guy. He's great.
Yeah, I like that. I like, and as you as a director, when you write a script, do you expect your actors to go word for word, or do you let them kind of like keep going as they go, or you want it word for word?
No, I love ad-libbing, and that's probably because, like I said at the beginning, I can't remember a line to save my life. So if I can't expect that of myself, I can't expect that of my fellow actors. Plus, I want it in their words. I mean, if you think about it, most scripts are okay. You're becoming Jason Bourne. We talked about Jason Bourne earlier, right? So you're becoming this spy, right? I don't want you to say the words exactly like, and you're stuttering like you're Captain Kirk, right? I want you to be fluid. I want you to feel that character. I want you to be Jason. And if
Right.
Jason would get juiced up and he'd yell and he'd say this, then say it like that. If we need
Yeah.
to change it. If I say, oh, okay, wait, you're going too far off script or something, then yeah, we'll dial it back.
Right.
I had one actor, I told him, I said, hey, I don't mind if you ad lib. Well, he took that to heart, and I don't think he said a single word that I wrote in the script. He was everywhere, but it was fantastic because he still had the essence of the character I
Of the
wanted him to
character.
play. And so, it was tough on me acting opposite him because I never knew where my line was coming because his line was something totally different. But as soon
Right.
as we'd rehearse it a couple of times,
Yes.
he would always say the same line over and over again, but it was just his line that he wrote. And
Right.
it worked out great. As soon as I would learn what his line was, then
Yeah.
we were golden, and he put his stamp on it, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, you see, that's awesome. I think there should be some gameplay between that director and actor. Some gameplay there where they can say, okay, well, if you can't remember this word, you can use your word as long as it has to do with what we're talking about, and make it sound real and look real. Let's try that.
Yep. Yeah.
So that's amazing. So right now at this point of your life, what exactly are your goals?
Well, I'm not really looking that far out, honestly. I've got a film I'd like to shoot in 24. And I'd also like to shoot a proof of concept for another one. So I'd like to get another full-length feature done in 2024, and then I'd like to do a proof of concept for a film that I would like to get done in 2025. And then I'd like to just keep getting in as many films as I can, as many Angry Troll Studio films as I can get in, and really
Yes.
anyone that's out there that is looking to put together a quality piece of work. I'm not that guy that says I have to be the star. So
Right.
if you're looking for a PA, if you're looking for a director, if you're looking for, you name it, I like to be a part of it. I just like to be on set. I like to network with people and, be a part of the team, help out any way I can.
Yeah, you know what, Dave? That's awesome. I'm the same way. I don't have to be the front guy. I can be an extra. I can be just a guy walking by and you just got a glimpse at. I just want to be a part of a team to make something beautiful come to life. And if I can do that just by poking my eye in, poking my eye out, then let's make it happen, because it's about the team. It's about everyone. It's not just about me wanting to see myself on a screen. It's about building something, a beautiful community among ourselves, and help others build their craft, because I'm the type of, I don't know it all. I'm not the best actor, right? But if you give me a character, I'm gonna play it to the best of my ability, right?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna put in the work.
Right.
So, I would love to do that with other people, that come in that don't know the game. I would like to teach them and show them, say, listen, this is how it goes, or, and be there. Just kind of work as a team, so that we can all get better at what we do.
Absolutely. Yep. It's a great way to look at it. If you're willing to help out and do the little things, it's going to come back to you in spades down the road.
Right.
That's true in any business.
Right. If you, on your next film that you put out, who will be some of the ball players that you would like to have on your film?
Oh, that's funny. So actually, I was getting ready to sit down and look at that. I've gone through my film now and started to break down some of the scenes. I've started to do some of the storyboarding for it, and I've had on my schedule for the last 2 weeks to start filling in who I would love to get. I worked with Danny Roebuck and Mosetta Vander in my last film. They were in Uncivil War, and they're fantastic. So I would always have them in any film if they were available and interested. Bronson Taylor, he was fantastic. I already sent the proof of concept film, So not the one I'm going to do next year, but the one I'm going to do the proof of concept for the following year. I sent that to Bronson, and he said, "I love it. I'm in." So
Great. That's great.
yeah. So I've got a few people in mind, but I've really got to, you love to have the same crew every time, but at the same
Yes.
time, you also have to have some new people in the film too. So
Right.
I am definitely going to go out and look for some new people to get into it. So each film I do is not the same faces every time. As much as I love working with them,
Yeah.
you have to expand too, and you have to see new people. So I never get offended if someone tells me, if I go out for a film that a friend of mine is doing or something, and they say, "Dave, I had you in my last one." You don't have to explain. It's fine. I get it. If I'm good for this character, great. If not, no harm, no foul. I mean, you got to get the best person to play that part.
Right.
And sometimes it's tough for people to do that because everybody wants to be friends and they want to get their friends into it. But sometimes the friend doesn't fit the part that you need them for, and you got to go get the right person for the film because you got to make the best film possible.
That was a good point, David, you just made, because people got to understand that just because we're friends, don't mean that you're going to be in every film that I do, because you're not going to fulfill every character that I need to be fulfilled in this film. You might be in one or two that your character plays well in this, but not all my movies or series that I might do, you might fit the character. So,
yeah, people
I'm
sometimes forget it's a business.
Right, and people lose friends over that. And I just want to let people know that it's not over hate or any, jealousy. It's just the way the writer wrote the script, and they're looking for a certain look, certain weight. It could be a fat guy. They might look for a fat guy with, that weighs 300 pounds, and you might say the lines correctly, and I might not say, but I got the look, I got the whole package that they're looking for. You just got to sharpen me up a little bit.
Right. Yeah. It's just like when you asked me before, did I lose any roles? Yeah, maybe I don't have enough hair, maybe I am not tall enough, whatever. It's the same thing. So I understand I'm not getting every role, but friends have to understand that they're not getting every role just because they're friends with me, and I don't expect it from my friends that you've got to put me in every film. If you can give me a background role, hey, that's great. I appreciate that, or whatever, or you want to have me on as a PA or a grip or something. Okay. But I'm not expecting anything from background to leading role, not expecting it. If I can do it, great. Only if I fit and I can help the film get to a better level.
Yeah. Dave, I agree. I'm the same way. I get in where I fit in.
That's right.
And I'm okay with it. I'm not, I do it because I love to do it. I love the acting, and I want to leave some type of, memories for my children and my grandkids. Whenever it's my time to go, if my grandkids never get to meet me, they say, "Well, who was Grandpa?" My son can say, "Well, here's a film. This is what your grandfather used to do," and maybe inspire them to become great actors one day and become a big name like Robert De Niro or Clint Eastwood, or or anyone in that type. So for me, it's more of leaving something, to be remembered by.
Leaving a legacy. Yep, absolutely.
A legacy. And to be honest, David, I think that I have accomplished what I have in the film industry. If tomorrow they will say you can't act no more, I'm fine with it. You know why? Because I did it. When I was a kid, I said, I want to be an actor, even if I'm not a famous actor, but I want to be an actor, right? And maybe get to meet some of the people that I grew up watching. And I did it. I went with Desert Free with Sean C. Phillips. Not sure if you know Sean. Sean C. Phillips, a great guy. He's out of Los Angeles. Nicole Vegas, she's out of Vegas. And they gave me the opportunity to be a part of a film where I played with Tom Arnold, which I looked up to when I was a kid, when he was a comedian. I looked up to Bailing when she did the movie Crow. I got to play with her. You know, Greg Wagner from Chainsaw Massacre. I always wanted to know who was behind the mask, and I finally found out who was behind the mask. Okay, so Eric Roberts played in this movie. Who else? Scott Taylor played in this movie. Lisa Wilcox played in this. So there's so many people that I looked up to, right, when I was young, and I got to play with them. So I'm okay. I'm
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely.
David. I'm okay. I played in the movie with some names. I'm okay with that. And those are the people that I looked up to when I was a young boy. And the feeling, David, to not just be an actor, but to be surrounded by professionals in that type of caliber of acting uh, gives you an uplift, gives you this energy where, like, if I can be in a film with these top dogs, anything is possible. You know,
Absolutely.
and I always say to thank Nicole and Sean for giving me the opportunity to be able to play that, because I never played a horror comedy film before. Things I do is like gangsters, CIA agent. I because I got a big body. Usually play those type of roles, gangster, mobster, stuff like that. But
Yep.
it's fun. So, your next, let me see. If you was to write an action film, right? An action film. If you were to write like a real action film, who would be your choice to play your lead character?
Oh boy. Well, we talked about Jason Bourne earlier. So
Yes,
Matt Damon's fantastic.
yes.
Um, we just my son and I he's back from college for the weekend, and we were watching Bullet Train with I'm blanking on his name now. Brad Pitt, and he was
Ooh,
fantastic in that. I don't think of him as an action guy, but he was great in that. Unfortunately, Bruce Willis has left the industry because he was
yeah,
great.
yes,
And then there's the old guys, Arnold
yeah,
Schwarzeneggers and the Sylvester Stallones. They were always
yeah,
fantastic. The up
yes,
and coming guys, there's plenty of them. The Rock and
yeah,
Chan Tatum.
yeah,
He was fantastic. He's a Tampa boy. He uh,
yeah, yeah.
he went to Tampa Catholic for a year where I taught actually back when I was a teacher. So I never actually taught Channing, but I heard he was a great kid while he was there. So there's so many great names out there. It'd be tough to say that's the one person that I would want. Tom Cruise. I forgot Tom Cruise. I mean,
There's so many. Um, Mr. Smith and Mrs. Smith was a great movie.
yes.
He
Oh,
played a real nice role there. Um,
Will Smith.
no,
Wasn't that Will Smith?
no, Mrs. Smith and Mrs. Smith with what's her name? It was Brad Pitt and his wife,
Oh, and Jolie.
Angelina.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah,
Okay,
remember
okay.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith? They were like spies.
Yes, yes. Okay, yeah. They both don't know that they're each in a different agency or something. Yeah, and they try and
Yes,
kill each other. Yes, that's right.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Brad Pitt will play definitely will play a good action role. I think.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
Christopher Reeves, we already know. If it ain't no guns, he ain't in it.
Yeah.
He's like, any guns? No, any shotguns? No, any arrows? I don't want the part.
Nothing to do with that.
Yeah, so that's it's fun. The industry we in, and and being a creator is also fun. And to see your things come to life, you as a director. Um, so right now, you have two movies coming out: 123, one on 24. And what are those movie about? Are those action? Are those drama movies? Love
So
stories? What are those movies?
yeah, so my movie, The Uncivil War, American Divided, is it's really about the year 2020, right when COVID was hitting the height. George Floyd had just been taken into custody and
Yeah.
killed, and everything that went down
Okay,
there.
okay.
And so it's two buddies, Bronson Taylor, my good buddy in real life, who plays Byron, and then I play Tom.
Okay.
And they're buddies in the movie. 40 years they've been best friends, and they've never talked politics. And all of a sudden, everything comes down with Floyd and COVID and the riots and everything. And it's all about how do they start talking about it, and the anger that gets between them, and then their friends and their relatives getting into it. And basically, everybody I talk to about the movie, everyone always says, oh, my uncle, I can't talk to my uncle anymore about it because he was on the other side, or I can't talk to my best friend since childhood, or my sister, or whoever it is. And everybody knows someone that they stopped speaking to each other because of the year 2020 and everything with it. So that's kind of what it revolves around. And by the end of the movie, hopefully you are pulling for Tom and Byron to stay friends, and you're seeing, will they end up friends? What happens in the end between them. So
Wow, sounds like a very intense movie.
yeah, so that's that one. And then hopefully I've got a Hallmark movie that I'm going to shoot next year. So this is again, this one's actually about me, about my life, because I don't fly commercially. I haven't been on a plane in about 20 years because I had a small experience coming back from Rome when I was younger, and we hit some turbulence, and it got into my head. And so it's this story about a father who has to get to Italy because his daughter is getting married in 2 months. And she says, you have to get on a plane and come give me away. And it's just him talking about his experiences with flying and how this fear has crippled him over the years. And, the experiences, how the fear grew and how it's declined, and about his efforts to get over to see his daughter before she gets married so he can be there to give her away. So a little bit of a comedy, but pull on the heartstrings a little bit.
Yeah. And you know what? I think a lot of us have gone through that experience in plane. Planes and boats with me, I know it's a no-no. I stay away from where I don't belong. I always say the sky is his own world, the water is his own world, and then we have our own world, right? So I know we play a lot with the ocean. We go in there and we do things that we shouldn't even be in that. We don't belong in there. We're not fishes. You feel me? But we take risks. We take risks to try to get on the boat and see the water and the animals. We're taking risks every day we on a boat. Same thing when we're on a plane. I had a turbulence one time going to Puerto Rico where the plane must have dropped. It first dropped like 5 feet. It went whoop, whoop, right? And it was shaking and stopped. It was going. Then it dropped like another 10. Whoom. That must have been the most scariest thing in my life. I said, I'm not making it. And after that, I think I didn't fly for like 18 years after that.
There you go.
So,
it's amazing. Kind of like what I just said, that, everybody lost a friend in 2020 to politics or social issues. Same thing. I tell people about my fear of flying. Everyone immediately tells me a story like you just said, or tells me about how much they hate flying. So everyone always has a story about it. I haven't really ever seen a film about a fear of flying. So I thought, well, this is something different and unique. I wish I didn't have the story to tell. I wish I could fly because I love travel. And I've got to drive everywhere. So that's a pain in the butt.
I'll drive anyway, as long as it ain't over. Let me see. As long as it ain't over 9 hours, I can drive.
Oh, I've driven out to California for a couple of movies, and
have you?
And out to Colorado for some skiing and stuff. So, fortunately, I got a car. I paid a little extra for my car so that it has the self-drive on it, because I'm in the car so much, and it's nice to have that self-drive so you can get out on the road and just go and not have to focus the entire time, because usually it's me by myself. So you've got to have that, otherwise you'll just, right off the road. And
Just right off the road.
so
Oh boy. So if anyone can find, where can people find you if they want to look you up? You got any links where they can find you?
yeah, so the worst thing is my last name. I love the last name SIracusa, but to spell SIracusa is a bit of a pain. But you can find me on my website at davidsiracusa.com, and it's SIRAC and then USA. So I love the USA part at the end there. So SIRAC USA. And then of course you can find me on IMDb. You can see all the movies I've worked on, or you can look for our production company, Iraeus Films.
Yes, Iraeus Films, right. So any shout outs before we log out?
Well, I already shouted out enough to Angry Troll Studio. They got all of those. So my business partner, Iraeus Cookie, Iraeus Films, Cookie Reyes. She's fantastic. But otherwise, thank you so much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on the show. And hopefully we'll see each other on set someday. Hopefully with Matt. I can probably see you on set for STZ. I'm not sure when he's shooting that, but he did ask me to play a small role in that film. So if that does come through, then I'll see you on set.
That sounds great, man. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Thank you. You too, Don.
All right, buddy. That was David SIracusa there, folks, director, actor, and producer. Make sure you guys follow him on his page. Make sure you guys see what films he's played in. And, you never know who might need some work, and David might need some actors. And, this is how this thing happened. Man. Meeting people, connecting with people, that's how you end up in a lot of projects. Big shout out to Nicole Vegas. You already know the vibes. The whole Desert Fiends cast. Also the cast of the TV series, The Pagan. Big shout out to you, to everyone. The writers, Victoria, Sarah, and Denise. Big shout out to them. Zach Johnson is also part of this series, and everyone else. Can't wait to meet you guys on set. Maria, big shout out to Maria Spenzia, and Mike Wagner, and everyone else. So thank you guys for tuning in. I got one more show at 5:00 with my brother Mike Gilando. He'll be on the show in about an hour. So tune in and show the love. And again, thank you for sharing, because sharing is caring. Thank you for supporting the show. I'll see you guys at 5:00 with actor Mike Gilando. I believe he was also part of Desert Fiends, or was going to be a part of Desert Fiends. But we'll talk to him and find out exactly what went down and what is he doing at this present day, folks. So I'll see you guys at 5:00. Remember to share, shake, and share is caring, and peace, love, respect. And I'll see you guys in a few minutes. I'm out of here. Peace.